And we continue at 2:05 in the afternoon on the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wang's in Culver City.
Kevin writes in at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com and has a suggestion. He thinks it's time to change California's official state motto. Forget Eureka. California's new official state motto should be California.
Confused? So were we.
800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. Well, it's Jimmy Buffett Friday, and you've all been good boys and girls this week. So we figured we'd give you a little gift to kick off your weekend. Here with an update on former Oakland Mayor Sheng Thao, Mr. Randy Wang.
That's right. I like that. That was amazing.
Shangy is back in the news, just barely, but I'll take any Sheng I can get because we've been in a Sheng drought for way too long.
Like, don't waste our time. We have a whole city to run.
Because here's the thingy. Shangy had to go to court yesterday, and Shangy and her co-defendants, including the boyfriend, Andre, and the Dong family, are trying to get all kinds of evidence that was collected in the FBI raids thrown out.
Not a day goes by where I don't wish I could just wave a magic wand and silence the gunfire.
Oh, those were the good old days. For more on the update on the case involving Sheng Thao that is coming to a courtroom near you, if you're in Oakland, here is ABC 7 in the Bay.
Andre Jones made his way to federal court in Oakland, along with former Oakland Mayor Sheng Thao.
Do you think they're still together?
Were they ever really?
Well,
didn't he bring them? He brought a mistress to her inauguration, and that's what caused a fight.
He brought his ex to her inauguration. I don't know what's going on there, but the more that I have looked into Andre Jones and his role inside the Sheng Thao administration and his role inside the scheme with the Dongs to sell the shipping containers to the city of Oakland to the tune of $300,000, and then the Dong family would give Andre a job for $300,000 a year at California Waste Solutions, sometimes I think Shangy didn't even know what was going on.
I think you might be right.
And is she still under the guise that this guy has her best interests?
I can get that.
Well, she is pretty delusional.
You remember at that party when he brought the ex-girlfriend to Sheng's inauguration, he was the one going around to all of the donors saying, well, what job do you want? Well, what position do you want?
And wasn't Sheng in tears backstage?
She was not happy.
You know, that's what a mayor do.
Andre Jones made his way to federal court in Oakland, along with former Oakland Mayor Sheng Thao and David and Andy Duong, for another appearance in a federal bribery and corruption case.
Just Sheng, Dre, and a couple dongs.
Sounds like the opening line to a joke.
Attorneys for the four defendants want the judge to suppress evidence seized with search warrants, claiming it relies heavily on an affidavit that contains, quote, false information and missing information. Presiding Judge Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers saying, quote, the motion is a stretch.
They know they're dead to rights.
It's not looking good for Shangy.
It is not. Although I got to imagine it's mostly looking bad for the Dongs and for Andre, but since Sheng was the one in power, it's not looking good for you, girl.
And we still got our Oakland A's, baby.
You really don't.
The attorney's also arguing that the affidavit showing a probable cause is based on the federal informant known as co-conspirator 1. He's widely assumed to be Oakland businessman and former Oakland City Council candidate Mario Juarez.
Okay, I did not know that at some point Mario Juarez tried to run for Oakland City Council, but I am not surprised.
That's news to me, too.
And if you remember, John, it was Mario Juarez who wrote that letter to the California Attorney General's office saying that Bob Bonta needed to investigate the Dongs and that the Dongs had an incriminating video of Bob Bonta.
I'd love to know what's on that video. Just think about this. If they ever turn this into a movie, whatever incriminating act that Bob Bonta allegedly committed on that tape would be in the movie. And the FBI raid on Sheng's house when she was topless, that would probably be like a 15-minute segment.
In case you're confused, according to Sheng, when the FBI raided her home in June of 2024, she didn't have any clothes on and she wanted to get dressed, but the FBI was worried she was going to try to sneak some evidence out of the house. So the FBI had to watch her put on her top.
Do you think that they did this early in the morning and she sleeps in the nude? Or do you think that she's just a nudist?
Of course it was early in the morning. They got to catch you by surprise.
Well, I don't know. Different people live different lifestyles. There are nudists who like walking around their house with their boobs hanging down to their ankles like a National Geographic woman.
That's right. I like that. That was amazing.
Poor Shangy. And by the way, the Mario Juarez thing is the connection to Bob Bonta.
Bob Bonta.
Where Bob Bonta spent nearly $500,000 of his campaign money to hire lawyers to assist him in the depositions.
He's widely assumed to be Oakland businessman and former Oakland City Council candidate Mario Juarez.
Mario Juarez is also the guy that was in the shootout with that guy Hermelindo Ramos.
Totally normal story.
Which he alleges was a hitman hired by the Dongs to take out Juarez after Juarez was turning on the Dongs after a dispute over getting paid to make those racist flyers against Lauren Taylor, Sheng Thao's then opponent in the 2022 mayor's race.
At the end of the day,
I know way too much about this case.
You really are an encyclopedia.
The attorneys argue that co-conspirator one has a decades-long history of defrauding business partners.
He stiffed the printer that printed out those racist flyers.
Everyone involved in the story from top to bottom is a dirtbag.
Even Sheng?
Even Sheng.
And he said, absolutely.
Including by forging documents and then falsely accusing those same partners of wrongdoing in order to escape liability. Federal officials say a money trail led to a federal indictment alleging a pay-to-play scheme where former Oakland Mayor Sheng Thao and her romantic partner Andre Jones traded political promises to the Duong family's businesses for campaign financing and cash. All four have pled not guilty.
Well, it's a little more than that. It was a straight-up scheme. And by the way, Brian Acevedo of San Leandro just pled guilty to the same scheme. So the Dong family had this great idea. Hey, there's a whole bunch of money that can't be accounted for when it comes to homelessness. Even though we're a recycling company, we got to get in on that action. So they were going to buy old shipping containers, quote-unquote, retrofit them to make them housing for the homeless and convince their bribed members of different cities in Alameda County to buy them for the homeless at the tune of $300,000 per shipping container.
Okay, I want to connect this back to something that we talked about earlier. When Gavin Newsom claimed to be illiterate and not have the ability to read, everyone knew that that was pandering from a politician. We knew what it was immediately. If Brian Acevedo were to go on TV and say that he was illiterate, no one would bat an eye.
Former Mayor Tao's attorney claiming the affidavit failed to establish a factual nexus, a legal term meaning, in part, to link a defendant to a crime. He says computers...
Well, there's a paper trail of the promises that were made, including, and this is where Sheng doesn't really have a leg to stand on, as much as I'd love to see her go free and run for mayor again because, well, she'd be better than Barbara Lee. The deal was Sheng would buy the shipping containers, and the Dong families created a fake position at their company to pay Andre, her boyfriend.
A legal term meaning, in part, to link a defendant to a crime. He says computers and phones were seized, but did not establish where the
Do you think there were any fun selfies on Shenghi's phone?
Oh, can you imagine?
Absolutely.
Shenghi, what's on that phone?
How are you?
Absolutely good.
Love to shake your hand.
Yes, it's been amazing.
Just let your imagination run wild.
Maybe she took a video of that thing she can do with her finger that nobody else can do.
I'm sure that's one of many.
And it's not dirty what I'm talking about. I have to find the clip now because I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea about Shenghi's talent. But, oh boy, am I even going to be able to find this? Yes, I do. I have everything saved, kids.
A couple of fun facts is that I am double jointed in my finger, and I thought for a while that everybody could do this. Turns out not everybody could do this.
Can you imagine her on the Gong Show?
I'm still irritated that the city of Oakland went through the trouble of recalling her to replace her with Barbara Lee.
Quite frankly.
Such a step down.
He says computers and phones were seized, but did not establish where the documents came from, adding documents show legal contracts, but no evidence that money went to Thao. Andre Jones' lawyer added,
Well, yes, that's the thing. I don't know that Shenghi was going to personally benefit from any of this. I have no evidence to back this up, just based on my observations of this mayor for the 2 years that she was in office. I think she got talked into this. I think Andre was going to keep all the money, and she didn't know any better.
No, look, we love to have fun at her expense, but she has all the hallmarks of an abused spouse.
And that's the truth.
Andre Jones' lawyer added, it doesn't prove any illicit activity. The judge did not.
That guy is so sketchy.
More sketchy than Sheng?
Yes. More sketchy than Ricardo Lara.
I'm very kind of sketchy.
It doesn't prove any illicit activity. The judge did not rule, but made it very clear that probable cause standard is low, adding she will consider whether or not to unseal written briefs and exhibits filed to federal court, which include the name of co-conspirator 1. She told the attorneys to, quote, prepare for trial.
That means, Sheng, you lose.
That trial is supposed to get going in April. And what we do know is that Brian Acevedo pled guilty, the councilman from San Leandro, to a very similar scheme where he was opening up a bank account in his wife's name to get the kickbacks from the shipping containers. And notably, John, Brian Acevedo won't just be able to testify to the scheme that the Dongs were cooking up, but Brian Acevedo was on this bizarre trip to Vietnam with Sheng and Andre and all kinds of dignitaries.
That's when he was asked a question about the trip that had nothing to do with anything illicit. And he immediately said, I didn't take a dirty massage when I was there, I swear.
He was not prompted for that, but he made sure to volunteer that information.
Absolutely.
Let's go to John in Long Beach. John, hello.
Well, the Duong family, I read an article the other day that said that they're in the top 10 of the wealthiest immigrant Asian families in the United States, for one thing. Anyway, you know how we have the Real Housewives of Orange County, Beverly Hills? How about if we come up with a show like that, The Real Crooks of Oakland? That could be a whole show.
Well, here's the problem. You couldn't put that on broadcast because there would be too much nudity. But if you put it on cable, you could probably get away with it.
Well, yeah, Sheng would have trouble keeping her clothes on, I'm sure. You got to watch out for that trick finger, too.
Thank you for the call.
It's just a little trick that she does. There's nothing dirty about it. Get this out of your head. She just thought that this was a fun thing to do on a podcast when she was fighting the recall.
A couple of fun facts is that I am double jointed in my finger, and I thought for a while that everybody could do this. Turns out not everybody could do this.
That is quite an argument to make when you're trying to save your job from a recall.
It is wild to me that this case is still not underway, but it's coming soon. And it's not the only issue that Shengi has, even if she beats these charges, which is unlikely. Because, John, you know it's any day that the indictments are coming down with all of the blatant corruption revolving the deal to sell the Oakland Coliseum.
Oh, I'm surprised no one's been charged regarding that yet.
Yet is the word there. You know that the guy that was supposed to buy it still doesn't have the money to buy it. And once again, the city's budget is dependent on that.
You know, it's really hard to believe that all the professional sports teams moved out of that town.
Well, they have one.
Oakland Bees!
Okay, I looked them up in the system. They're not AAA. They're not AA. They're not single A. It's not rookie league. What else is there in the minors?
They're a very, very, very small league that has a few teams in Northern California and a few teams in Idaho and Montana.
Okay, so it's a sports league that has no affiliation with the majors?
That is true. It is not a farm team. It is, let's see, it is owned by, it's in the Pioneer
Does Vince McMahon own this one too?
No, it's the Pioneer League. And currently, the Pioneer League has the Billings Mustangs, the Boise Hawks, the Glacier Range Riders, the Great Falls Voyagers, the Idaho Falls Chuckers, the Missoula Paddleheads, the Ogden Raptors, the Yuba Sutter Freebirds, and the Oakland Bees.
They all sound like made-up names for episodes on The Simpsons.
Oakland Bees!
800-222-5222 is the telephone number. 1-800-222-5222. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, the emails are starting to roll in.
Oh, yes, they are. Let's see if I could read this one from CR. Where are those photos I've asked you guys from the past of the raid?
That's right. I like that. That was amazing.
Sleeping in the nude, then getting dressed while the FBI watched carefully. Excuse me, wait, I need to check under there. She should start a reality show featuring the end and beginning of her day. That's right. I like that. That's amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And if you want to listen to us tomorrow in the Central Valley, that's easy to do.
I got to make sure one of these KMJ shows is a Shangy recap. In fact, I believe one of them is coming soon. In fact, I can tell you right now. Let's find out what I put together that's going to be on the big KMJ show this weekend. I got to go to my folder here, go to KMJ, and let's see. It's going to be the 7th of September. Oh, I've got the Gavin on the Daily Show thing where they mocked him endlessly for high-speed rail and homelessness. That's a great one. So if you want to give that a listen, you can by listening to the Fix California Hour replay on KMJ Saturdays at noon.
Let's go to Petri in Rio Vista. Petri, hello.
Hey, Johnny, John, and Randy Rand. Thanks for taking my call. So listen, about the Oakland sports teams, that they're all gone, all the big major sports teams, that's actually a good thing, right? Because now, finally, the curling league at the ice rink in downtown Oakland can get the due respect that it's been waiting for all this time.
Thank you for the call, sir.
Between that and the figure skater, Oakland is all of a sudden a winter sports town.
Right now, it's time to open up the California Crime Blotter.
It's happened yet again.
I see. Time for the California Crime Blotter.
Oops, she did it again.
I had a feeling that was coming. Britney Spears I guess you would call her a former pop star because she hasn't released anything in a very, 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 very long time.
Well, that's not true. She puts those videos up of her dancing in her kitchen on social media all the time.
She does put those out constantly. Sometimes she's topless.
Hear that, Sheng?
Shangy, what do you think of Britney's Insta?
That's right. I like that. That was amazing.
Shangy gets mad when Britney deletes it every now and then.
Well, that happens when you sober up sometimes.
Well, it's been some bad times for Britney Spears got popped for a DUI in Thousand Oaks. And this is the sad part of the story. Well, actually, everything related to Britney Spears has been sad for the last decade or so. But she failed the field sobriety test. She was driving very erratically, but she wasn't even above a 0.8.
What?
She was at a 0.06.
So what? She was doing mouthwash?
For more on Britney Spears and her DUI, here is CBS LA.
Some new concerns about Britney Spears tonight after she was arrested in Ventura County last night.
We're coming on the 20-year anniversary of when she randomly went to that place in Woodland Hills to shave her head.
Oh, I remember that.
Poor girl.
Accused of driving under the influence.
CBS LA's Lori Perr is live in Westlake Village with the investigation and hope that this situation leads to Spears getting help. Lori?
I mean, good luck with that.
That seems like a tall order.
I think even her family has written her off at this point. But what do they care? They're still cashing the royalty checks.
What about her ex-husband, John Fetterman? Is he still around?
No, it's not John Fetterman. That's the senator.
Wait, who was her ex-husband?
The dancer guy? Oh, boy. Britney Spears. And she got married again, and then she got divorced again, too. Britney Spears at Kevin Federline. Kevin Federline.
Federline, yes.
Not John Fetterman.
Can you imagine those two together?
I really can.
Yeah, CHP pulled over Britney Spears here in Westlake Village. We're not far from...
Uh-oh. You're in Westlake Village. Britney, did you have one too many margaritas at Los Agaves?
That's across the county line.
Yeah, CHP pulled over Britney Spears here in Westlake Village. We're not far from where she lives. It's unclear where she was before she got stopped. Tonight, a representative for the pop star called the incident unfortunate and completely inexcusable.
Black sedan, erratic braking, swerving, and driving without taillights.
She's swerving, driving erratically, and without taillights.
So what? She doesn't maintain her car, or did she kick him out before she got behind the wheel?
Well, and I guess they just weren't on, although don't most modern cars just automatically turn the lights on now?
Fords do.
Black sedan, erratic braking, swerving, and driving without taillights.
That's the 911 dispatcher relaying reports of a car that turned out to be driven by Britney Spears on the southbound 101 near Westlake Village Wednesday night.
Can we send all units down towards this area, please?
All eyes on the pop star again, and not in a good way.
They haven't been on her in a good way since the early 2000s.
You know, when you hear her driving abilities described, maybe it was John Fetterman behind the wheel.
At approximately 8:48 p.m., a black BMW 430i was reported to the CHP's Ventura Communications Center for driving
By the way, this is also the first time I've heard of the CHP pulling anybody over in a really long time. And what do you know? The CHP getting all kinds of attention about them doing their job and not going on Kamala's book tour.
Or how about Ricardo Lara's world tour?
I'm very kind of sketchy.
Where do you think he's going for Pride this year?
Probably everywhere.
For driving erratically at a high rate of speed.
CHP says they followed Spears off the freeway and pulled her over on Westlake Boulevard. After a series of field sobriety tests, she was cuffed.
Officers from...
What did they have her do? Stand in the line? Recite the alphabet backwards?
Well, it's kind of unfair to make her walk the line. She's a dancer. Maybe they could allow her to dance it.
She had that thing where she has to keep her arms out and then try to touch her nose.
She was cuffed.
Officers from the California Highway Patrol's Moore Park area arrested Brittany Jean Spears, 44, of Westlake Village on suspicion of driving under the influence of a combination of alcohol and drugs.
Entertainment Tonight host Kevin Frazier, who has interviewed Spears over the years, says her family members have long been saying she needs help.
They were hoping to have an intervention. They knew there was some kind of problem, whether it was alcohol or something.
Oh, her family's a bunch of parasites. Who are we kidding?
Child actors and singers of that era seem to have nothing but leeches around them 24/7. I think even Gary Coleman ended up penniless.
Yep.
They were hoping to have an intervention. They knew there was some kind of problem, whether it was...
The only one that really made out well was Macaulay, and that's because he divorced from his parents.
They were hoping to have an intervention. They knew there was some kind of problem, whether it was alcohol or substance. They knew there was a problem, and they were hoping that she...
I mean, if you watch her Instagram, you knew there was a problem, but...
Yeah, you don't need a degree in psychology to figure this one out.
Didn't stop me from liking the post.
Whether it was alcohol or substance, they knew there was a problem, and they were hoping that she would fix that problem. Well, now, thank goodness, before someone got hurt, and even worse, someone got killed, she will probably get the help she needs.
She won't.
But I don't understand. If she wasn't legally drunk, why was she driving around like that? Pills?
Well, you can still be a really awful driver, present company included. And if you have any alcohol in your system and you drive that terribly, you can still get busted for a DUI.
Even if you're below a .08?
Yes. The police has discretion in that. Now, those cases are easier to fight if you get one of those DUI lawyers. But yes, if you are driving recklessly and you have any alcohol in your system, that can count because some people are lightweights.
Oh, she's going to beat this in court.
A statement from her rep echoing that, saying in part, her boys are going to be spending time with her. Her loved ones are going to come up with an overdue needed plan to set her up for success.
Those boys are in their 20s, and I got to imagine every day they open the internet, they're like, today's going to be the day. What did mom do now? This poor girl.
Her loved ones are going to...
Child stardom doesn't end well for most of them.
Didn't she date Justin Timberlake back in the day?
Yes.
Her loved ones are going to come up with...
In fact, was it her or was it somebody else where she got pregnant and then Timberlake said you got to get an abortion? I think that might have been her.
Oh, my.
Her loved ones are going to come up with an overdue needed plan to set her up for success.
I should say allegedly, shouldn't I?
Yes, you should.
To set her up for success, for well-being. That's notable in that it hasn't been that long since Spears won a legal battle in 2021, ending the legal conservatorship in which her father controlled her personal care and finances.
And by the way, that was the worst example of all time of a conservatorship because she got way crazier when she was, quote, under his care.
Oh, yeah, because when you're under someone else's care, they call the shots. And if they don't have your best interest at heart, guess what? They're not helping.
No. What that conservatorship was really about was her parasite parents stealing her money.
Since then, her social media has been rife with strange posts. She's had trouble.
She likes to dance.
A lot.
She's had troubling run-ins around town, and now this.
Booked into the Ventura County main jail.
Now, Spears was released at around 6 this morning. She is due in...
Got her out of the drunk tank.
Well, it doesn't take long to sober up if you're not even legally drunk.
This morning, she is due in court in May. We are live in Westlake Village. I'm Lori Perez, CBS LA. Back to you.
Lori, thank you.
There you go. Another chapter in the sad, sad story of Britney Spears.
If I was on that jury, I'd vote not guilty. She did not blow a .08.
She's just a bad driver?
Yes. Let's go to Haas and La Mesa. Haas, hello.
Hey, gentlemen, you just brought up a second issue. The first being daytime running lights. A lot of people drive down the road thinking their headlights are on when they're not because of the daytime running lights. They forget to either flip their switch to auto or to turn them on. And the second thing is the DUI charges in California have two sections. Section A is driving under the influence, which you can do on a sip of NyQuil. And then the B section is if your blood alcohol is over 0.08.
So you're saying that she can be criminally convicted of DUI even though she's not legally drunk?
Correct. Driving under the influence is the driving itself. It's not the amount of alcohol in the system.
All right. Thank you for the call, sir. If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, you're monitoring the mailbag.
Al writes in at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com on Oakland sports. John, Randy, Oakland has always been a winter sports town based on how many white powders Oaklanders have been skating on.
That's right. I like that. That was amazing.
All right, it's time to reopen the California Crime Blotter.
If the cashier is dummy.
We couldn't make this stuff up if we tried.
I said, hell no, baby boy. Let me get up on out of here.
It's the California Crime Blotter.
And Randy, this one involves a man of the cloth.
A bishop in San Diego County was busted for embezzling money from his own church.
That's not a good look.
The tithing was going right to his pockets. For more, here's Fox 5 in San Diego.
Zara, Andrew, this was a dramatic arrest here at the San Diego International Airport where the bishop was under investigation by not just the sheriff's department, but by the Vatican as well.
Uh-oh.
He's got a lot of institutions looking into his affairs.
The bishop was arrested just before boarding a flight out of the country. 69-year-old Emmanuel Shaletta of the Diocese of St. Peter the Apostle was arrested on suspicion of embezzling hundreds of thousands of dollars from his own church. The former leader of the Chaldean El Cajon Church had been under investigation from the Vatican and the Sheriff's Department after complaints.
These are the kinds of crimes that the Vatican looks into.
Well, no one likes to have money stolen from them.
This is the crime. Not the other things that certain priests have been accused of.
And the Sheriff's Department after complaints were lodged by members of the church.
Certainly a newsworthy event, and the fact that he was at the airport, you know, if he was headed to Las Vegas, that's somewhat suspicious. If he's headed...
When he was going to Vegas?
A bishop.
Maybe he just wanted to double all of the money that his flock gave to him so he could give it back to the community. And he could say, God did that for you.
Or maybe he just likes the buffalo machine.
Somewhat suspicious. If he's headed to the Mideast, somewhere that's even more suspicious. Suspicious.
In an investigative story from The Pillars, a Catholic-centric publication, they report Shaletta had been seen going into a Tijuana brothel.
Uh-oh.
Whoa.
Maybe he was just washing some feet.
Yeah.
Had been seen going into a Tijuana brothel called Hong Kong.
It's unusual. It's not the first.
By the way, that is legal down there. But I don't think you're supposed to be doing that if you're a man of the cloth.
Yeah, no, that's got to violate a couple of the rules.
Had been seen going into a Tijuana brothel called Hong Kong.
It's unusual. It's not the first clergyman to have been arrested. I'm sure his congregation is shocked and disappointed.
Shaletta now has been arrested on 8 counts of fraud, with church members reporting between $400 and $1 million missing. Shaletta has denied all wrongdoing and says he was given money by a parishioner to distribute that money to the poor.
That's why he was at the whorehouse in Tijuana. He was trying to help the prostitutes seek a better life by paying them directly for not sex.
Well, he was bringing the ministry to them.
Defense attorney Jan Ronas says being arrested at the airport could alter the way the court handles bail for Shaletta.
You can infer.
I mean, yes, he's obviously a flight risk.
Well, he's also a risk of getting across the border by car or foot.
For Shaletta.
You can infer from flight to avoid prosecution is a manifestation of consciousness of guilt. So it's not the best thing in the world. On the other hand, there could be some just an innocent excuse associated with that activity, which may mean that it's meaningless.
He could have just been at the airport because he was visiting family. But when you've stolen that much money and you think they're onto you, it certainly is suspicious.
What was going through his head when he decided to do all this?
Good question.
Shaletta could be arraigned as early as tomorrow morning. He's currently being held on $125,000 bail, but that could change because of the circumstances around how he was arrested and how close he was to getting on a plane. That's the very latest from the San Diego International Airport. I'm Jamie Chambers. Andrew, Zara, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
So there you go. The bishop in San Diego County that was stealing thousands of dollars from his flock to, I guess, go to Tijuana and get the best prostitute money can buy.
Well, that's not in Tijuana.
No.
I wonder if he spent any time at the river. You think?
I got to put this stupid drop on the hot bar.
You can smell it right here.
You have a magical ability to turn a story that has nothing to do with Orange County Congresswoman Katie Porter. The story's not even in Orange County, and you have found a way to take a shot at Katie Porter.
Please.
I did nothing of the sort. I just asked if he went to the river. That's all.
So innocent of you.
There is no substitute to standing here and smelling it and seeing it yourself.
Imagine if those two ran into each other.
The embezzling bishop and Katie Porter.
That would be quite a duo.
Hello, everybody.
What are you going to do?